Group C, Group D, everybody. Nations Cup continuing with Group D. We got Austria against Finland right now. Infernal Shrines is our first map, and we got a best of 3 series here on our hands. So the Nations Cup continues. We are still in the group stage. This is the first phase of the tournament. A quick reminder, it was an open sign-up, so anybody could sign up with a couple of friends. The only requirement was really that all of the players on the team are from the same country, but there were no skill requirements or anything of the sorts. So there are, of course, big skill gaps between the teams. 28 teams in total, representing 17 countries. There was the option always that you can sign up multiple teams for a country, which means that we have for France, for Germany, for Poland and others 3 teams, some have 2. And if we have a situation like this happening, you always can see it in the team names since they are numbered. For Austria and for Finland, the 2 teams that we now have in this series here on screen, we only have 1 team for the 2 of them. So 7 groups, 4 teams per group. First place out of the group makes it straight to the next phase of the tournament. That advances 7 teams, obviously. And then we are advancing an 8th team. And for that 8th team, we have a last chance qualifier where all of the second places in the groups participate to try and lock in that final slot for the next phase. So super important for the teams that if they can't make it into the number 1 spot in a group, if there's like maybe one of the top teams, the top dog in the group there, that they at least fight for number 2. And we'll see how it goes. There's $10,000 of prize money on the line, obviously, so there's a lot of esports dollars, a lot of pizza money, and with that, it makes sense to really just home in on this. Now, we got some really fun games going on here. We have a draft restriction as per our usual agreement, so every single hero can only be played once, creating a bit of variety in the pool of heroes that gets used here. And as we're kicking in for our first map, we got Khaldor taken for the Austrians, and over on the right side, Team Finland with Stukov and Johanna. Kind of curious about this. New patch is live. This is the first weekend where we have the new patch live for competitive play. So we've already seen a few adjustments being made. Couple of choices. Thrall, for example, testing out Echo of Elements, which has been slightly changed, especially on the Mythic reward. We have seen a few of the heroes that got significantly changed, like Deathwing, others completely being banned out. But I would still expect that teams will have to try and, adapt a little bit to the new patch and the new priorities over the next few weeks. So everybody is dabbling right now and having a bit of an eye on it. With Khaldor now being played actually for the first time this weekend, we could also see that new skin. A little bit more of a similar style that we already saw included with Thrall's latest update, but more so on the Skeletor side. So most players, most people seem to like it a little bit more than the Thrall skin, who's still dividing opinions. But, well, we got Auriel together with that. So, with Shrines, we already have AoE now, obviously, in. Khaldor always good for that top lane and also for the battle on the Punisher with a bit of spin to win. And then we have Khaldor, who brings in a lot of AoE damage, too. Mirrodin gets banned. He, of course, also saw a couple of changes, especially on the baseline. I think the Mythic reward is probably not going to happen too many times in competitive play. That's more something that you might be able to achieve in a quick match or maybe even Storm League, ARAMs. But you have at 50 stacks still that pierce for that second hit and a bit of cooldown reduction on your auto attack. So that's kind of useful too. And we have seen Mirrodin in action already. Pretty sure we're going to see him in this series too. But for map number 1, he's out. Chromie gets banned, so no setups with her and the long range poke. You could still easily go for oh, actually Junkrat banned as well, so forget about that. But yeah, what are they going to add now? Mephisto, and we get Leo. So we add more wave clear. We have Jojo, we have Leo, and then Mephisto for a lot of damage. You have after an Entomb, for example, a Lurking Arm. So it's the poor man's buried alive that we could technically see here. And let's go for the final pick on the side of the Austrians. What's it gonna be here? They still need a main tank, and we get the birdie. Okay, Falstad for some auto attack damage, and we get a Nuburak for the deep dive. Whereas over on the right side, with the front line already established, a bit more damage would surely be welcome, either through another melee, or they could also go for more distant poke. But yeah, either way, we can make some moves here. If they go full triple front line and can lock down a Nuburak, they could definitely bring the pain here. It's map number 1. Again, this is a group where we've only seen 1 series so far, so it's quite important for both of the teams to start off with a win if they want to get out of the group towards the next phase of the tournament. Group D, ladies and gentlemen, Greymin is our final pick. We have Team Finland going up against Team Austria. The blue team, Team Austria, over on the left side, we have Frops on a Nubarak, Labova on Oriel, Samu plays Hogger, Teensy on Gul'dan, and Alex on Falstad. Teensy coming in with the Pursuit of Flame here. Also changed, obviously, not in the latest patch, but before, so now you have to be more cautious before you complete the quest so that you don't die. On the right side, with Team Finland, we get Otorox on Jojo, Simba on Leoric Titi. Plays Mephisto, we got Slithery Snack on Greymane, and Lazamehu is playing a Stukov. So, I'm actually curious to see how this one goes. I would say that the two teams here are very likely gonna struggle to aim for one of the top spots in the group, but it's a little bit too early to tell. Obviously, the red team is to a large part, maybe completely, participants that we also have seen in Underdog Cups representing, I believe, Nakini, if I'm not mistaken, from Heroes Lounge. And then on the left we have the Austrian team getting some early stacks going on very, very quickly. Now Falstad is going to be a focus for us as usual with Frequent Flyer getting the first reward at 60 and then at 150. Trying to set up a bit of a trap, but the blue team is a bit unlucky here. Their opponents are going for a safe rotation down to the bottom of the map and are not falling for the trap. Another focus is going to be on Gul'dan to make sure that he's completing his quest before he is getting killed and loses the stacking progress. So time will tell. And yeah, all the way up at the top, Hogger is already starting to push the lane out a little bit. Leo obviously rotating against him from the mid and the top lane. And it's camp after camp that's currently taken here slowly. It's always nice when we're having a new group starting up and a couple of new countries coming in and being represented here. And oh, look at that clean kill! Falstad murdered! First blood! Good job, Team Finland! Taking down the birdie. Getting some easy chicken wings for themselves before they focus on their own camp over on the right side. Meaning they get now 2 out of the 3. And over on the left side, the blue team is now getting the bird back. And Nubarak as a choice, I mean, we'll see how they're going to do with this, but they have to be really careful here. Oh, talking about careful. Oh, there's the hit, and Oriel is gone. Damn. Yeah, they came in swinging. Greymane turning full on beast mode and jumped in to take the healer out. So that's a double kill, essentially, for Team Finland. And Gul'dan is probably scared for just a second there as well. So you get 13 stacks currently. Should be able to complete that, but yeah, that got spicy on the bot lane. So we have with Grey, oh, also level 4 Subdue, of course, for Jojo. It's going to be interesting on the shrines. There's so much presence right now that we are seeing from the red team, thanks to the heroes that they chose during the draft. Whereas it's a bit of a different story for Team Austria. They are going for more of a dive comp, so these sustain fights on the shrine, they're going to be a bit more tricky for them. They have with Hogger a really nice tool for shrine damage, and also, of course, Gul'dan, who can just always carpet everything with AoE. But generally speaking, I'm liking a bit more what Team Finland has drafted for the map. Now, there is a lot going on with the stacking progress towards the late game from Falstad. Alex was taken out once, but if he can stack this well, then this is going to be massive for them in the late game with all of that damage. Despite the fact that we obviously have a blind on Johanna, but still, it's not going to be too big of a problem. So, shrine number 1 is up. And seems like everybody is going to fight for it. Falstad is still sitting down at the bottom of the map. Is rotating slowly towards the top, though. So they are going to engage here from the looks of it. Flying in even! As a short flight, but he goes for it. Uses the cooldown here and jumps on Stukov right away. 21 stacks now for Gul'dan, getting closer and closer to completing a level 1 quest, which would really go a long way. They're forcing them into a choke point, making it mega easy for Gul'dan to get the stacks in the first place. And there's the kill. Teensy taking down Johanna, and they're eliminating Greymane too. Team Austria starting strong into objective number 1, bringing the kills back and looking to secure themselves Punisher number 1 in the game. Good stacks from Falstad as well. Level 7 talents kicking in. And even with the camp now pushing at the top lane, the Austrian team is off to a strong start here after initially losing 2 of their heroes. So, good job. Pushing straight through the middle of the map. Punisher, of course, cannot be baited over the wall any longer. Guaranteed to get damage with a frozen Punisher for sure. Sidewall opened up so they can access the backline quickly. And they're pushing with everything they have, with the exception of Falstad, who could fly in once the cooldown is back. So, yeah. They're starting to set this up here with a little bit of damage on the fort. Nothing fancy. if we're honest about it. Falster was still missing, but again, he gets the damage at the top lane. They get some extra stacks for him. He's 4 short before he's going to be able to rely on the extra auto attack damage. But already, Simba in trouble, and that's going to be a kill. Falstad wants it, Falstad is going to get that. Barrel rolls forward, knows that everybody else is down at the bottom of the map. Gul'dan gets taken out, so another kill at least for Team Finland. But of course, that means extra stacks for Falstad at the top. That's an increased auto attack damage for him now. But it really starts to be quite clear that Greymane is going to be their biggest problem. TT softening them up with Mephisto, and then Slithery Snack coming in with the aggression and being used as a finisher here. The bot lane struggling as a result, and yeah, the blue team still ahead in experience by half a level, but this could become a problem later on in the game when the death timers are rising. For now, with Falstad still snacking those minions up and getting his stacks, things are still looking okay. Ooh, Mephisto, a bit low here. Stupid helping out as best as he can, and the blind instantly through right there. Yeah, nice start into the game. Early level 10 ability, of course, that allows them to invade the opponent's camp as we're moving in on heroic ability, so no surprises here. The only Oriel hasn't made a choice yet, whether she wants to go for Resurrect or just coming through with Aegis. I suppose we're also going to see what exactly Team Finland is going to do. Sometimes, of course, popping Aegis out just means that you're setting the opponent up for another kill and give them another target. Cocoon maybe a little bit too early thrown out here. That's not a fight that they were realistically able to force just underneath the fort. But we have with level 10 abilities on the other side, Durance of Hate coming in, Bullet for Greymane, and yeah, the push at the bottom of the map. As Oriel still thinks she's cute. Not picking her heroic. I'm gonna be mysterious. And I'm gonna take it in the fight. I'm gonna confuse them. Yeah, not that that ever really worked out. But, well, they're pushing Leo back. And Falstad, again, he is gonna be happy with everything that's occurring here. He's just getting more stacks. Samu with Hogger was also waiting to take those minions out for Falstad to rotate over, so that makes things easy. They're sitting at 100 stacks now. Blessed shield though, and damn, poor Hogger. I don't think they like that. Yeah, apparently they didn't. That was from the voice chat, obviously. 3-5, down at the bottom of the map, still pressure. And that fort is taking damage. So, while Team Finland is doing a good job with getting kills, and I like some of the plays that they're making, Greymane being a menace after the team gets softened up by Mephisto, the macro plays and some of the rotations that we're seeing are quite clean from Team Austria. So they are starting to threaten structures, but now with the next objective being up, the question still remains who walks away with Punisher number 2. Damage is coming in here. Nobody is at level 13 yet. And they go for Leo, and Leoki is down. Falstad, a happy recipient of even more stacks as he's moving towards the second quest reward. And Team Austria walks away with an advantage on the objective. For Finland, it's a bit annoying. They're now fighting a 4 versus 3, not for too much longer though, because Simba is about to be back. Gast used. They're trying to make the play for Mephisto, and he dies. Gul'dan comes in with a kill, as the mage battle is clearly decided in his favor. Level 13 talents also at the ready, and this is going to be another Punisher for the blue team. Yeah, job well done. So by now we have some synergy too, as TNC goes for the Fell Armor with Gul'dan. We got sustained wins for Falstad, 130 stacks, and they're pushing the fight even past the fort now. Aegis gets used on Oriel as she became the target, but with Greymane being eliminated, that's basically the main threat gone. He's the one that secured the kills earlier, and they're even able to take down Jojo. So they're moving this entire thing past the fort and start attacking the wall of the keep, whereas the minions just take the structure on the left out. Leo in the middle, looking for experience for the Finns, but it's nasty. That's a 1.5 level advantage now for Team Austria, and they are going for the keep. And with Jojo not in play, the defense is essentially non-existent. So now that they have the entire team back, they might be able to get a kill, but the keep will still fall. I mean, this is going to get eliminated. So the keep is gone. They traded a Nuborok's life, and I'd say worth it. Especially since Falstad is now at 150 stacks. So yes, he has the big reward. He has the big auto attack damage. and the blue team will have a really nice position from here on out. I mean, quick reminder, when we're talking about Forcer damage, oftentimes you're just sitting there and you're thinking, alright, he has the auto attack damage, his hero damage is going to absolutely explode right now, and he's going to crush it. But let's not forget, this is not just against heroes. You're sitting on the side lane, you're taking structures out. You can play that macro angle, you can really play around your opponent's team as much as you want. Hogger, I mean, interesting play. I'm not quite sure what he was expecting there. And needs to get the shockwave out. They're turning it though. Horrify gets used. Greymane moves out. Hogger is still alive. And Falstad is now starting to say hello from the backline. Clearly looking for an angle on Gust. But gets slapped around a bit by Stukov. And couldn't really go for it. But they still had the pressure at the bottom of the map. Thanks to the mercenary camp and the minions that they took here. But Alex was looking for that Gust and looking for that VIP play. It didn't really come together. Leo's defending the top lane, so this is a 5 versus 4 right now in favor of Team Austria. And they take Greymane down again. It's tough. Yeah, Forrester was looking for a fly, cancel it. Fort is gone, and now they're opening the wall at the bottom of the map up too. They are clearly in a dominant position right now, and it's going to get worse in a second or two because Team Austria is going to lock in a level 16 talent. So they're even further ahead, and that forces the red team to defend and wait for experience to slowly tickle in, try and save their structures, and hope for a 16 versus 16 fight on the next objective. It's easier said than done, though, because the Austrian team is aggressively pushing now for the middle of the map, trying to take the last fort apart. Level 16 talent, soon TM, and there we go. Falstead picking up the crippling hammer right now. A little words today. Jojo with a little bit of a suicide wish, but damn, they're getting the damage in. They're actually going real deep on this. Blessed Shield was out, and they got the bird. For a second, it seemed like they might be able to pick up a second kill. Ah, but there's the Entomb. Maybe now the big opportunity. The Finnish team, look at them. Leo goes down, so does Gul'dan. Jojo and Leoric have fallen, and they're going for Samu, eliminating Hogger to make it a triple kill. Still a decent trade for the Finnish team, and more importantly, they have the numbers advantage for now. And on top of that, Leo, of course, will be back quickly. Plus, they tick up extra experience thanks to those kills, and are all of a sudden on the driver's seat on the next objective. Not too bad. I like it. Risky decision, maybe. But sometimes you got to take that risk, and it paid off for them. So it's 10 kills to 9. As the blue team realizes they won't be able to make a move here, so they're instead going for their own mercenary camp at the top lane. But it's now all about how Team Finland is going to use this Arcane Punisher to try and get even a bit. Because, quick reminder, they haven't taken out a single fort yet. Now it's going to change now. But the one thing that is still a bit debatable is how far they're going to be able to push this. So, can they go for that keep? Can they at least open the wall up? Maybe do a little bit of damage there. Time will tell. But, yeah, we got Oriel with the Reservoir of Hope now on 5 stacks currently. Blessed Shield. Hogger, the Aegis. Nice. But he's still in trouble. And gets entombed beautifully by Simba. Simba with the Entomb, but they just cannot get the kill. They might get it now, though. Punisher wants a piece of the action, jumps in and locks an Uberak down, and that is kill number 10 for the Finnish team. So they get some more damage in down here, opening at least that side wall up. But Leo had to retreat because we already had some serious damage on that core shield. Catapults are now taken out. Now, of course, it means that at the bottom of the map, it's a 4 versus 4, and Falstad is still angling and gets killed by Greymane. The slithery snake gets also killed. Teensy with the damage on Gul'dan, able to drop him, but at least the birdie's gone, so that is going to slow down the stacking slightly. With 200 stacks right now, Falstad is doing okay. Still 100 away from getting his final reward, but if they ever made it to the pinnacle reward, that would, of course, spell disaster for the red team. But that was still a nice play by them. They got the kill in the first team fight. They were able to lock in a Punisher. They destroyed the fort, opened the wall up a little bit. Jojo, not really getting too much out of that Blessed Shield, though. They are aggressively now looking for those kills. Would be a bit easier if they also had Greymane with it, and now on the retreat. They actually abandon him. They're not even trying. They're just sitting there like, dude, we don't care. So Mephisto is fully abandoned and gets killed very quickly, just as Greymane comes back. That's exactly what you're trying to avoid. Those staggered deaths against the red team, that hurts. Now, he will be back in time for the next objective, and I think that's all that matters for now. But a quick reminder that Team Austria is starting to approach level 20 very quickly. So there is a realistic scenario in which we have Storm Talents for the Austrian team, and Team Finland won't be able to rely upon them for the next Punisher. But for now, they could fight on even talents, just not with even numbers. Mephisto down for another 15, so yeah, tough luck. Bridging 1.5 levels. We'll see when we have the next announcement. Haunt is now ready. So Storm Talents are in play. Which also gives us rewind for Nubarak. And as usual, we get the wind tunnel over here. Trying to put them into a corner on this. One level. One level that they somehow have to bridge. Now, don't get me wrong, if they get a kill here, that would be exactly the play. But Horrify gets used, Aegis is out. Leo activates his trade value, but they go for Mephisto and he falls too. And guys, that top lane, the catapults are again on the core. It's a quad kill and they're going for glory. Yes, the Austrian team with the aggression in game number 1 as they are establishing a 1-0 lead in this best of 3 series here in Group D of the group stage of the Nations Cup. Nicely done. GG, well played. Blue team with a victory on Infernal Shrines. I hope all of you are enjoying the Nations Cup. We have an awesome event going on right now and it's lots of fun. Please keep in mind though that events like the Nations Cup, like the Bounty Cup and Meta Madness are only possible through private supporters, through Patreon supporters, and through partnerships that we have on the channel, campaigns that we're doing with them. And right now we actually have a campaign going on that will last for quite a bit of time, and you can right now support the channel for free by just investing a couple of minutes. It's really just taking a moment. All you gotta do is follow the instructions in the description of the video, download Opera GX through the link that you can find in the video description, and then use the browser to watch a couple of YouTube videos, maybe watch the live stream, or just some general browsing. It's already supporting the channel immediately. Again, it's a very nice browser as well. It has an integrated VPN, which is of course super helpful. You have a lot of themes going on that are targeting gamers and lots of other features. Just experiment with it a little bit, use it in your daily for a bit, and that's all you gotta do to support the stream. It's super easy, super fast, takes a minute or two, and you support not only the stream here, but also future tournaments that we're going to host. So I would really appreciate it if you could use a couple of minutes of your time to do exactly that. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and enjoy the rest of the tournament. Map number 2, Battlefield of Eternity. The Austrian team in the lead, so this is match point for them. Team Finland, they gotta be careful here. If they lose, they're not necessarily out of the group yet. They can still advance. But, of course, we have seen so far only one other match in the group. Poland against Russia. And Poland was able to win that series. It was a pretty close one, but they closed it out in the end. So currently they're sitting at the top of the group with 3 points. If Team Austria wins it here, they would draw even. And, well, the 10 heroes that were played on the previous map cannot be played again. So, let's go and check this out. By the way, just as a general thing, I want to give a little bit of a thank you to the people watching this, especially to people commenting on the YouTube videos or jumping into Twitch chat as well, to the normal people out there. It's actually sometimes a little bit weird. Back in the day when we had more offline events, it was a bit stressful to go from event to event. But honestly, it sometimes grounded you a bit because you always had Heroes fans, you know, coming up and just talk to you a little bit, shoot the shit, and just be real. And a lot of this is lost when you are just talking to people online, being in a chat, being in YouTube comments, for example. So oftentimes, and this is generally a problem, of course, as a content creator, as a caster, it doesn't matter what you do, if it's YouTube, if it's Instagram, if it's like TikTok. By human nature, you tend to focus on the negative comments a little bit more, and events always really helped a whole lot, you know, to just like ground it, because you would meet real people, would meet fans, and not just some guys that are hiding behind the username. And so now that we don't have these events anymore, I just want to say that I really appreciate, you know, the people that are a little bit real about this, that write the comments, the positive ones. I still read it. The same is true for Twitch chat, obviously. And I don't say it enough. My apologies for that. But Not only to the people you know that just like give compliments there, but that are just interacting normally. There's too many dummies around lately as well. The tournament obviously gets a lot of attention. That's true for Twitch. That's true also for YouTube. So there's a lot of people that are just slightly gaga in their head. And it's very easy for me and others to focus on that too much. But in that context, I really want to say thank you to everybody that you know is coming in, enjoying the games here, having a fun time with it, and just being normal. So, thanks. Appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy the show. Now, coming back to the draft here, we have a little bit of a sniper combo going on for Team Austria, as we got Varian Hanzo and Li Ming right now. Okay, so this is already going to get pretty neat. They're obviously looking to try and lock somebody down with a taunt and then come in with Hanzo's arrow and hope to set Li Ming up for the full combo. That is very easily done, honestly, if they can coordinate that well. I don't know exactly how much the Austrian team has actually scrimmed. There are regular scrims going on between most teams. But if they lock this down consistently, then they have a good shot at getting those resets for Li Ming and then just snowball the fight. But the team has to coordinate around that. Finland's job is to try and break that as best as they can. Control Varian or Li Ming and make sure that they're never going to get into that flow where they can execute these kills easily. Obviously, the red team has already decided that they want to focus on Jimmy as the main damage dealer against the Immortal. So coming in with Exterminator very likely and trying to just burn that down. Dehaka for the side lane. We're getting Rega for heals. And then, well, it's the front line that we of course still need and a bit of extra damage to boot. And it is Jaina. Jaina obviously saw some changes in the recent patch as well. And yeah, we'll see what they can do with this. Over on the blue team side, Team Austria. Final double pick. Now, they need a side laner that goes up against Dehaka right now. In an ideal world, you want to also stack a little bit more CC. You could go... well, they go for Tyrande here for their support. So we have Hunter's Mark now, not only on the target that Varian starts to taunt. Blaze follow up with the jet propulsion. And then you have a Tyrande stun. If they can execute this, amazing. If the red team, on the other hand, is able to just throw a wrench into those plans and focus on the squishies, then they might, you know, fall victim to that. They got burst damage now. They got some CC with Dehaka. What's missing is that frontline tank that we still need to get. And, well, let's see what Finland is going to play here. For them, they need to win 2 in a row if they want to take this series. And it's Medivh! Damn! Okay, we're getting a Dehaka main tank with a double support behind it. Didn't see that one coming, but, well, the Finns, either they went a little bit too deep into the Finnish vodka already, or they're just coming up with some pretty cool ideas here. We'll see if it's going to pan out. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 2, Battlefield of Eternity. It is match point for the Austrian team as we have them over on the left side with Frops on Varian. Lavova on Tyrande. We got Samu Plays on Blaze. TNC with Li Ming heading into Ether Walk on level 1. And Alex on Hanzo. The pick on Medivh, actually a pretty interesting one. I mean, honestly, it could be an adjustment to what Varian is doing on the other side, trying to supply that shield. But they decided clearly to go into essentially a Dehaka main tank played by Simba as Odorox is using Medivh. We got Slithery Snack on Exterminator with Jimmy. TT on Jaina, and then Lazamehu with Rega. Could very well be an adaptation play from Dehaka later on. He's still sitting at the top lane, by the way, going up against 2 now, as Li Ming moved topside together with Blaze. But later on, he will be the main tank, so survivability is going to be important. And even with the double support, it's going to be quite crucial to have that sustained. So there is a chance that we're going to get adaptation. Time will tell. For now, they're rotating Jimmy up top to help Dehaka out a bit, who already ate a full combo. And that was a bit more than he liked. Jaina was changed, so there were a couple of changes to her on her talents. Mainly just, you know, small adjustments. But the big one is really what happened on her baseline. So now we got a mythic reward over here. And we also have a pretty interesting situation where you have not only your ice block, but if you get the mythic reward, you're dealing lots and lots of damage, and they can also all of a sudden move and cast while it's active. So let's have a focus on Jaina a little bit. It's mainly the baseline talent that got changed and is a huge deal right now. When we're talking baselines, of course it would be amiss to not mention Medivh, who will try and completely stack his Arcane Rift. So this is one to always pay attention to, especially with Varian unlocking Taunt on level 4. Medivh has to be careful. He's also, of course, the one that needs to counterplay that as best as he can. Throw those shields out, get those portals ready. And not frontline. That's the one spot where Odorox is not allowed to go, because that could turn into utter disaster. And Dehaka, disastrous at the top lane. That's the first kill, and even Jimmy took a lot of damage. Now, to be fair, both Samu and Tinzi are also low on the blue team, but first blood goes to Team Austria. So, down at the bottom of the map, still our 3 versus 3 with Varian moving in, trying to add some aggression, and damn! Another kill! Li Ming able to take down Jimmy. That's 2 kills at the top lane, and they're destroying the entire wall. Yeah, this is not going well for Team Finland. They're in trouble. They're clearly in trouble here. Great start for the blue team. Structural damage, getting a double kill, leading experience now. That brings us to level 4, which gets us Taunt. We're having Triumvirate after the initial Ether Walk, and we'll likely get Calamity as a follow-up. Could go for a long-range poke, which is not that uncommon on the map. But given what they're trying to do here with Varian, it seems a bit more likely that this is the approach that they're taking. We're getting Frost Shards, so now we have the PS ready for a little bit more CC and control. Not too much damage yet from Jaina on the baseline. This is obviously supposed to change once we're heading into the big team fights. But Finland, they gotta step it up a little bit. This is definitely not going their way. You gotta be very, very careful. And down at the bottom of the map, now that the objective is up, let's see which team is going to take the initial lead on this. Samu is still looking good at the top. Still playing that out in the 1v1, whereas the 4-man at the bot lane, they're now starting to slowly focus onto the Immortal. Jimmy needs to go for the ratatata, and he does, because he has the damage. He has Exterminator. He's the one that needs to bring the pain here, and has the chance for the team, whereas for Team Austria, it is of course Hanzo that they're going to be relying upon. Fairly even trade, but the blue team wins the halftime show. They're a bit ahead here by roughly 1000 HP. A little bit more than that. And Hanzo is instantly on it. So, seems like it's going to be close, but Team Austria should be able to lock the first one in. 1500 hit points on the shield. Nothing crazy, but hey, taking everything you can get at this point. And of course, the idea is also to try and push with this. Wall hasn't been opened up yet at the bot lane. Certainly going to happen now, though. 18 stacks for Medivh. Again, our boy needs to complete that before he gets too aggressive. Li Ming, as expected, deciding now to go into Calamity. So we're not going to get any long-ranged crazy poke as we sometimes see with then follow-ups on Glass Cannon, just maximizing damage and trying to poke. With Varian being played the way with a follow-up from Blaze, from Turan, and all the stuns. They want to go for the maximum damage output in the shortest possible amount of time to try and get the resets and then just jump through the team like a bunny on speed, getting one Calamity hit in after another. Lock already on Jimmy, huh? They're still poking, and they're getting good damage in on the fort. Taking the wall out was the first step. Still not the biggest lead in HOTS history, with only half level, but the Austrian team is in the driver's seat right now. They're setting the agenda here. Finnish team, good turns around. I mean, they're gonna try. Medivh needs to complete his stacks. Jaina needs to try and also get to her rewards. Ideally also the mythic reward. And Jimmy can still focus on the Immortal later on. But it's already the blue team that is rotating a lot more aggressively across the map and now trying to take additional mercenary camps for themselves. Increasing the lead in experience, increasing the pressure on the lane. Now with them rotating top, that leaves Hanzo as the only defender at the bottom of the map. That makes things a little bit tricky maybe. He's coming in here, Inspire buff is already clicking. And the Slithery Snack with some nice damage, but they gotta defend the top lane. Because, yep, there's the drag. Varian is so far fairly unimpressed. Don't think he cares too much. Flank is coming in. But, well, there is more and more aggression now coming from the blue team. And, for example, Hanzo is all alone on the bot lane now. So once he takes the minion wave out, he could technically push. But the Immortal is being announced, so more likely that it's just going to let this one slide, especially since the rotation is underway. Camp is kicking in a little bit too late. Could be taken during the halftime show. Varian running into trouble. Quite literally, by the way. But so is Jimmy. If Varian gets close enough, and he does, then there's the taunt and there's the kill. Even with the portal popping up from Medivh, there was no saving this anymore. And Medivh? Ooh, baby. You're sitting at 25 stacks. You gotta be careful. Now, this is obviously disastrous for Team Finland. Losing Jimmy here, your main damage dealer against the Immortal, is rough. Worst time. Just as the objective spawns. And here's level 10. That's a 1-level lead with heroic abilities. That gives us instantly Starfall. We got Wave of Force for Li Ming and the arrow for Hanzo. So now you have a taunt from Varian, the Hanzo arrow follow-up for additional stuns. Yeah, and they're suffering here. Jimmy's back and they're trying to... You know what? They actually didn't do too bad. I was about to say they're trying to stop the bleeding, but it's going to be in vain. But they reduced the shield very significantly. This could have been so much worse. I mean, seriously. So, Jimmy did tons of damage here very, very quickly, together with the rest of the team. By the way, we have exactly the adjustment that I talked about at the beginning of the game with the Haka. Since he's now the main tank for the team and essentially the only melee because they're relying on Rhaegar and Medivh as a duo, they went adaptation here. So that was something that we already theorized early. The draft obviously making it quite tricky for Team Finland as well, given the situation that they're in. But the direction is quite clear. Ring of Frost also being used. Oh, the arrow! Medivh! The Ancestral keeps him in play! And Jaina, trying to execute the damage combo, comes out with the big bang here. Good defense again from Jimmy. Exterminator, obviously fantastic, not only when we're talking about getting the Immortal, but if you have to defend against it, then it also helps you out a lot. So yeah, Simba defending the fort at the bottom of the map. The rotation of the blue team is also underway. We're still waiting for kill number 1 for Finland. 3 kills for Team Austria. Not that that's necessarily a lot either, but they maintain that 1-level advantage. And now with the topside fort destroyed, that of course means automatically that you're now getting some passive experience gains. So that's quite nice. Yeah, jet propulsion! And Jaina with some added damage over here, but it's Jimmy that falls. Jimmy is gone, and here comes the Austrian team with a big play, trying to go for Rhaegar. Starfall out. Here comes the portal, and the Haka is able to retreat too. All of them rushing out as Medivh is getting closer and closer to completing his baseline quest reward. But the red team is losing ground. They're losing too much ground here. They have lost their 2 forts now, and that means more passive experience for the blue team, a better position on the map. They have fountains where the red team just doesn't have access to them. Trying to use the ley line here, but the camp is lost. At least Jaina's trying to get damage out. Quest about to be completed for Medivh, but he's not quite there yet. Could still turn it, but they're just not getting anything done in these fights. That's the problem. With a level 13 talent advantage now for the Austrian team, they are establishing more and more leads on this, and it's getting tricky. Group D so far. Austria looking like a serious contender here. Damage output, we got 18,000 for Blaze. Top damage dealer for the team, as it happens. So Samu with some serious plays. And on the other hand, second damage, Li Ming. 18,000 for Jaina. TT still coming in, dodging the combo from Li Ming there for a moment. And finally, Medivh able to complete his quest. Big step into the right direction. Can play a little bit more aggressively right now and doesn't have to worry about himself all that much. Li Ming gets pinged instantly as she got stunned by the Immortal. Hashtag deserved. So the team is instantly on it. But well, here comes the lick from the Haka. Ancestral, nice. And that jet propulsion, the Haka. Brutal. Simba in trouble. And Jaina gets killed. They want the counter kill, and they take Tyrande out. The Karen of the Storm has been eliminated by the Haka, who gets murdered a moment later. So it's a 1-for-2 trade in favor of Team Austria, who now move on to try and take the Immortal, and this is going to be a big one. That talent advantage obviously helping in the last fight, but this is huge for the Austrian team, because this time Jimmy is not able to chunk it down, so this is 100% on the shield. This one is big. So, yeah, this is going to get tricky. 10,000 damage from Jaina, so she's very close to get the first quest reward and get her ice block. Miles away from getting the mythical reward. Definitely still able to accomplish that as long as they can stay in the game here. But the problem is that with such a big Immortal, 11 minutes into the game, I expect Team Austria to just fire everything they have. It's going to be fireworks over here. So, oh, not like this! The shield! But they take advantage of the situation and they get a super quick double kill. Both Jaina and the Haka are gone. That was massive. Huge problem. Jimmy gets killed. Arrow, bam, Medivh is gone. And this looks very much like game. This looks like it's the end of the road in this best of 3 series for Team Finland. They keep gone. 10 kills to 1. And that's gonna be a victory. Team Austria is able to start off into Group D with a W, not only here on Battlefield of Eternity, but in their first match. Jaina gets killed again. That's 11 kills. The core falls and Team Austria takes down Team Finland with a 2-0 victory. Nicely done. GG and well played.